to just drill into one part of that. So you mentioned the interest groups that are pushing for mass migration. You mentioned big business who love it because it puts downward pressure on wages, and the government that loves it itself because of the revenue. The other player here is, of course, universities that I think are probably the worst. And you've done a lot of work on this, basically exposing the export market myth. Now, yes, it's absolutely true that having foreigners come here to consume our education services is an export. I don't think that is contested as in terms of a definition, but I think the universities will claim it was like $48 billion or something was the value of this export, saying, well, yes, there's a cost, but we're providing a massive benefit to the community through earning export revenue. But you've done a lot of work exposing that number is greatly exaggerated. Could you talk us through that?
Yeah, sure. So the number's actually 51 billion is the latest. So this is the so-called fantastical $51 billion of education exports that the ABS measures. And they often claim it's Australia's fourth biggest export, but that number is wildly exaggerated. And I'll tell you why it's wildly exaggerated, because number one, the ABS counts all expenditure by people on student visas as an export. So if you go to McDonald's, you buy a burger, that's an export. If you buy a roll of toilet paper, export. What it doesn't do, it doesn't net out money earned in Australia. So as we know, most international students who come here, especially if you're from, the subcontinent or whatever, you come here and you work while you study. And a lot of people actually use the student visa system as a backdoor work visa. They actually come here to work more than actually study. So especially if you use the private college route or something. But what the ABS doesn't do is it doesn't net out money earned in Australia, which then is spent on goods and services here. And obviously if you earn money here and then you spend it, that's not an export. So they don't do that. And that is so the ABS estimates that around a quarter of that figure is money earned in Australia, but that estimate itself is wildly under exaggerated because it doesn't count cash in hand jobs. It's only money earned in the formal economy. Also, money earned in some of the gig economy, so like food delivery, etc., hasn't been counted properly. So even that number is grossly exaggerated. The other thing they don't net out is migrant remittances. So that's money sent home. And according to the World Bank, the latest data there, it says that migrants in Australia have sent home net US $10 billion last year. And if you actually I've plotted that figure against the student visas and they track almost one for one. And what they suggest is that a lot of students are actually sending money back home. So really, to get a true export figure, you need to net out the money that's earned in Australia, which the ABS has a loose estimate, but it's not really high enough. It doesn't count cash in hand jobs. And we know that migrants are actually, and students are one of the core groups that are subject to wage theft. So they work these cash in hand jobs. Also, they don't net out the remittances that are sent home, which again was about $10 billion US, so about 15 billion Australian last year. So there needs to be some of that also netted out. So I think the true figure is probably half what they estimate.